Hi, this is Dr. Rebecca Wood, and I would like to welcome you to the Week 3 lecture. This week we are going to be asking some questions about our audience and who is our audience. So when we're writing, who is the primary audience? That would be the person who made the assignment. Also, your primary audience could include a larger group. For example, if you're writing your company's annual report, the audience could include fellow staff members, customers, and investors. And the audience for a class paper often includes your classmates even if they won't actually be reading it. For example, in this class, unless you want to send your paper to one of your classmates, or unless it's chosen as an anonymous sample paper, your classmates will not actually be reading your paper. However, you should keep them in the back of your mind and think about your paper when you write it. Would this paper possibly be interesting and understandable to your classmates? And if not, you may want to tweak it a little so that it would be easier and more fun to read. Also, we would have a secondary audience, possibly for any piece of writing that we do. So your writing project could be forwarded on to others without your knowledge. That won't happen in this class, but it could happen possibly with your work projects. The secondary audience could include anyone in the world. Always proofread for tone and accuracy before sending emails or other electronic communications. This would also apply, of course, to paper letters and communications. Keep in mind that your documents can be forwarded to anyone, anywhere, at any time. For example, if you would be writing your company's annual report, it could be read by anyone, including your company's competitors, so you should always take care about what type of information you include in your documents. And since we're writing for an academic audience, we should think about what would an academic audience expect from our papers. They would expect a strong thesis statement telling us what the point of your paper is. Why are you writing the paper? What do you know that you want them to know once they've read the paper? Academic formatting, which usually includes a standard font, usually in a size of 12 points. And that size is big enough that it's easily read, but it's also not so small that you have to write a whole lot of more information. And your paper should include a descriptive title, not just the name of the assignment, but what your paper is actually about, summed up into, I'd say, somewhere around 5 to 10 words. Also, an academic audience would like to see an introduction that lets them know what your paper will be about, and a conclusion that wraps up all of the main points in the paper and agrees with the thesis statement. You may even restate the thesis statement in different words in your conclusion. And also, we need to have body paragraphs that lead the audience logically through your paper from the introduction to the conclusion. An academic audience expects facts that back up your thesis statement, careful documentation of any material that was discovered during your research process, and you should document as you go and take careful notes and pay attention to what you're doing so you don't have something happen where you're reading your paper near the end and you don't know where something came from. That would be a real problem. You'd have to take out anything that you can't document that came from your sources. And also, an academic audience wants interesting details that make the paper come alive in their minds. They would like your paper to be interesting and enjoyable to read if at all possible. Each element of the assignment should be included. That would be a cover page, APA references list, outline, anything that's asked for in the assignment should be present in the assignment when it's turned in. And the paper should be revised for organization of ideas and proofread for mechanical errors in the last stages of the writing process. When you're writing for an academic audience, please make sure that you understand the assignment before investing a great deal of time on it. If you don't understand the assignment, please contact your instructor with questions. And you can contact me by phone, email, You can ask a question on the on the Blackboard discussion board if you would like. You can text me. So if you have a question about your assignment, it's a really good idea to ask your instructor. And since they've written the assignment, they should know what they meant when they wrote it, and they can explain what you need to do. Now, if we're writing for a workplace audience, the first thing we need to do is to identify the scope of the writing project. Are you writing a brief handout? Are you writing an entire training manual or an operating manual? Are you writing technical writing, or do you need to write a memo that's going to go out to a whole bunch of customers? So are you writing for a coworker, a supervisor, the entire company, possibly customers? If you're writing for a supervisor or the entire company, you would be much more likely to write in a formal manner. If you're writing for just a coworker, maybe an email to them, you should still be courteous and professional, but you may be able to write in a slightly less formal tone. And then keep in mind that workplace communications are likely to be saved or forwarded on to others. And so we don't want to descend into casual mode in our written communications at work. And also keep in mind that anything you write on your work email is not considered private and could be viewed later at any time by the company without your permission. Also, when you are writing for work, don't forget to use the writing process to keep your thoughts organized and to make the writing more understandable for the reader. And make sure that you check to see if there's already a designated format used for your company for the type of document you are writing. I remember when I wrote an agenda for a meeting at the company that I work in the IT field, and I didn't use the designated agenda format, and I had to redo my document because of that. And for an example, as I said here, you may have the standardized agenda. And it's extremely helpful to find an editing partner who can read your work for organization, tone, and mechanical errors. You don't want to send an email that's got kind of a rude tone that you've written by accident. Maybe you forgot to put in a greeting, or you said everything so quickly and didn't explain it. So you want to have your coworker, your editing partner, assist you, especially with important memos and writing. Any typos or confusing passages that are not caught in the editing process and carefully corrected can literally cost your company money and or customers. So if you send out something that's got a lot of mistakes in it, that could lose respect for your company as well as for yourself. So, customizing for your audience. Whether you are writing for an academic audience or another group of readers, it can be helpful to imagine them actually opening up your document and reading it. Have you made the main or primary message clear? Will your readers understand your position on the use of electronic health records by the time they finish reading your paper? Or possibly maybe read it out loud and say, wow, I didn't really make it clear. I just put a lot of information here, but I didn't really have an underlying theme. So you may need to rewrite some of your document. And do not try to be mysterious or surprise your reader unless you are literally writing a mystery novel. Academic and business audiences are not looking for a surprise, and that's a lesson I learned kind of the hard way because I thought I'd put a twist ending on some of my academic papers, and one of my instructors had to tell me to stop doing that. So we don't want to be mysterious in our academic or business writing. Caution. Since anything we write these days can make its way to the rest of the world, it's worth noting that criticizing your workplace, its customers, or your friends and family can lead to problems. And you have heard the stories by now, I'm sure, that people have lost their jobs or had serious problems with their personal circle because of things that they posted on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever that might be. So, opportunity is also involved in our connected world. We could find out that we have creative possibilities that no one has ever had before. The world is now our audience, and we can share our thoughts and cat videos with the world. And authors are publishing their books and selling them independently on Amazon and other venues. And so now we have responsibilities that are greater than ever before with our writing, and also opportunities. So I wish you all a week of opportunity and happiness, and I will bid you adieu. Thank you. Bye-bye.